Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat, and today I'm going to be doing a wrap-up for you of some recent reads I've completed that had creatures featured in the stories. So grab a tea, a coffee, whatever you need. My family just went to the beach this morning for a little bit of a cloudy day, like beach sand adventure. My daughter is only 1.5, so she's more about playing in the like low waves and the sand. It was just lovely. But we came back, we had showers, she's napping, I'm all cuddled up in my warm thing, and I'm so ready to wrap up these books for you. So as usual, I'm gonna wrap them up in order of least popular books to most popular, just so that the least popular ones get some more airtime. And without further ado, let's get started. So first up is Dark and Lonely Water by Graham Reynolds. I'm looking at my notes down below. So I had this from NetGalley as an ARC, and this had a very interesting beginning where we're following a police diver. So he's called to the scene of a disappearance. They're not sure if it's a crime yet, but they think someone was swept into the water after trying to rescue someone. So the police diver is sent into the water to try to find the corpse, which that's a horrible sounding job. Like police diver, it just sounds horrible because like how many, by the time the divers are called, aren't they all dead? Aren't they all mostly dead? So yeah, he's looking for corpses down there and he finds something else instead. When he comes back above the water, he's raving about something trying to eat him, and so he's kind of this disgraced cop. And we switch point of views to Sam, who is a journalist who is trying to prove herself and move away from her, like, kind of indie newspaper, like not that serious of a place to be. But she's also a widowed mom, so she has a lot on her plate between working and also caretaking, as well as trying to find like a story that would like launch her career. So this is categorized as horror, fantasy, and gore. It's set in Preston and London, England, and the themes are like female sorrow and hunger. So in the end, this got 3.25 stars because the beginning was really solid, the middle was honestly boring for how many bodies are piling up, and the end was spectacular. The end of this was phenomenal. Most authors, I think, have a problem landing an ending. This was one of the best endings I have ever seen. It was so, so good. I wish that the middle part of the book would be maybe fixed or tailored a little bit, because the middle, you don't really get connected to the characters that much, which is a problem when things start to get gory and more towards the horror end of things. So if you like creature features in the water, this would be for you. Or if you like books that have like an absolute excellent gory dark ending, this would also be for you. So next I want to talk about The Dunny by Keith Thomas, which was another ARC that I had from NetGalley, and this one did not disappoint. This was really solid and creepy all the way through from start to finish. It was great, and I will be reading more if the author makes it a series, which I think he said he was going to do. So this is a horror novella set in a small town at the ancestral home, and the themes are generational trauma, inherited rage, and family. So basically everyone is traveling home to this ancestral place where the grandfather lives because he is going to be moved into a retirement home, and they're going to help move him. However, he doesn't know that yet. So when they arrive, they're trying to talk to him and see what's going on. But the little boy, Asher, realizes something is amiss, and there's something in the house that's like in the air ducts. And the grandfather says, "Yes, I know, that's the Dunny. we need to keep it fed so it doesn't come out, which leads to some horrifying scenes. And as time goes on, the Dunny isn't content with just staying in the basement and in the bones of the house, and it wants to come out to feed. The Dunny breathing through the air ducts reminded me so much of, in Australia, there are possums that are very cute, but they breathe like, and they sit under houses. So if you have any sort of like air ducts or windows, you hear heavy breathing. The first time I heard it, I was scared. I was like, what is in your house? And they're like, oh, it's just a possum. And I'm like, okay, Australia. So I really do recommend this if you like a creature feature that's not really long, but that is just really solid the whole way through. And I will say, like, a comparative title would maybe be Strangled by Mary Ann, where there's an entity living in the house's bones that is interacting with the people now living in the house. I like that kind of thing where there's something in the house that makes it feel haunted, not that there's actual like ghosts in the house. I'm less about that. But creatures in the house? Yeah, absolutely. All right, next I want to talk about Cutting Your Teeth by Kaylin McRae, which is another arc that I had from NetGalley. This one is full of queerness and vampires. The author identifies as non-binary and goes by they, she, and also has autism and ADHD from their Twitter. So that's important for some of the rep in the book. The genre is urban fantasy, romance, LGBT. The setting is Seattle and Portland. Themes are fate, loyalty, life and death, blood ties, and the vibes are like aching, longing, and haunting. Okay, so we're following basically two main characters. So there is Ezra, who is an underground fighter running from his past, and he's a Scorpio. Okay. And Killian, who is an underground fighter / vampire who saves Ezra after he's attacked and is like going to die. And he's an Aries. Just tossing it out there. So basically Killian saves Ezra, turns him into a new vampire, but Ezra's past is quickly coming after him, and not in a good way. So Killian and Ezra are on this, it's not really a road trip, but they are trying to figure out what's happening, and also other forces are at play on Killian's side as well. So some of the elements that I really liked, Ezra has sunflower blossoms tattooed down his back. There's lots of queer rep by Pan, and FF. This has paranormal elements, vampires, werewolves, and ghosts. It has a small found family of 3, then 4, plus a very good dog. There is a short road trip. I will say this book has super short chapters, so you just feel like you're flying. Like, I think I read this in a day or two, and I was just loving the experience. There's a really cool concept in here where when you're a new vampire, your baby teeth fall out, because then you get like the daggers, and I was like, that's honestly adorable, and also makes so much sense, because why would you keep like these aren't sharp at all. So losing the baby teeth I thought was such a cute concept. If you really love when a found family defends their own, then this book will be for you. The final battle scene was epic. I have "let's fucking go" on my review. Also, something called possession tattoos, where when you're possessed, they tattoo your body. Yes, I love that. I'm a sucker for like tattoo elements. I think I might do soon a 5 super specific Rex video where tattoos are a major part of the story, because I love tattoo elements so much. And I will say some of the cons. I didn't realize this was a series, so there will be a book 2, if not more. I didn't realize that going in, as well as there are quite a few chapters, 5 chapters after the final battle, and I really wish it had been like 1 or 2 max, because 5 chapters, it felt like all the drama and the tension of the final battle, and then you still read 5 chapters and it like slowly deflated after that. So 1 or 2 chapters I think personally would have been better, but that's just my opinion. Like I said, comparable recs, mostly for found family, road trips, and queer with paranormal. I would say Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, Fragile Remedy by Maria Ingrande Mora, and Drawing Blood by Poppy Z. Bright. Yeah, so I gave this 4.25 stars. It's sitting up in probably my top 10 of the year. Highly recommend if it sounds up your alley. Okay. Second to last is Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. We are following a grieving mother whose 11-year-old son has passed away very sadly. She takes out a piece of his lung and keeps it in a jar, and that lung starts to grow and morph into another creature that she calls Monstrilio. And it's not long before Monstrilio starts to resemble her dead son, with very bad repercussions for people in the household, the family, and the neighborhood, and eventually beyond. So as Monstrilio grows up from boy into a creature man, you are really looking at the family dynamics and like how they are dealing with their grief and just refusing to let go that their son is dead, and trying to find elements of him in this new son, Monstrilio, even though Monstrilio is their complete own being. This is magical realism horror. It's set in Mexico City and also Berlin and also New York City. The themes are grief, holding on too long, and love, and the vibes are absolute like impending doom and wildness, because one of the things is that the mother is really trying to see her son in Monstrilio, but Monstrilio is like a wild thing, a wild creature. So from the beginning, I was really torn about what I wanted to happen. Like, do I want it to turn more into the old son and the family can like be happy again? Or do I want Monstrilio to be this wild thing and just kill everyone? I really was torn, but the writing was beautiful. I couldn't put it down. It's so interesting. This would make an amazing read to buddy read or to read for a book club, because I think there are so many things to talk about in here, beyond just grief, but also loss and love and family. I'm just laughing at one of my things that I wrote in my review. It says, "It is not a cute Pokemon evolving. How many red flags do you need? Red flag. It, red flag. Eats, red flag. Pets, red flag." So yeah, this is quite gory, and like I said, Monstrilio is a wild thing. So I really hope that a lot of people read this book. I gave it 4.25 stars as well. I've thought about it a lot, and I reckon that, you know, when you initially rank books, I reckon that as the year goes on, this will stay steady in the top 10 and not drop, because it's such a strong idea and concept, and there's a lot to chew on, if that makes sense. And what I wrote is that the comparable recs for this, it's like if you took Earth Eater by Dolores Reyes and you mashed it up with Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. So if that sounds like a super weird pairing, it's because it's a super weird book, okay? Okay, and the last one I want to talk about today is How to Marry a Marble Marquess, I'm not sure how to say it, life is too short for me to look it up, by C.M. Costa, who also wrote Morning Glory Milking Farm. So I thought for sure that this would be great, because I really liked Morning Glory Milking Farm. It was about minotaurs, and it was oddly good. And this is about gargoyles, which I was like, yes, because the only other one I've read about gargoyles was, I think Jennifer Armentrout did one series, yes. So this one I was like, yes, immediately, okay, let's go. Unfortunately, I only gave it 3 stars because it was really forgettable and like basic actually. So there's this woman, she's disgraced in human society, so she decides she's gonna go to the monster ball as a last-ditch effort. So she asks this guy who's a gargoyle to teach her. They fall for each other. Not interesting, it wasn't that interesting to me. The thing that was interesting was that however he's sitting when the sun comes up is how he has to sit all day. So there are some spicy scenes where like they're doing it on the rooftop and then the sun hits and he has to sit that way the whole day. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I'm intrigued, but that's all that was interesting. I didn't really like this book, I'm sorry to say, and I gave it 3 stars. So this does have a creature feature, it has gargoyles, and it does have other monsters like in the periphery, but this was not a hit for me, and I sadly gave it 3 stars. So yeah, those are the 5 creature feature books today. Let me know which of these creatures was your favorite, because for me, definitely, you should read Monstrilio, Cutting Your Teeth, and The Dunny. Like, yeah, they were really good. So I will see you in another video soon. Lots of love. Bye for now. Bye!